That breaking news coming out of Washington, D.C., a rough end to a highly anticipated meeting between President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Thanks for joining us at noon on this Friday. I'm Lisa Gonzalez. President Trump cut the meeting short after Vice President J.D. Vance called Zelensky, quote, ungrateful. Zelensky was quick to respond, reminding President Trump of the 2019 ceasefire deal that Russian President Vladimir Putin signed during President Trump's last term. Take a listen to the exchange.
In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. You're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country, that's back to you, far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
One more question.
Now, before that exchange, President Trump made it clear he wanted Ukraine to reach an agreement that would not only push him toward a resolution on America's terms, but give the U.S. an interest in Ukraine's valuable minerals as well. Zelensky was expected to sign that agreement that was aimed at closely tying the two countries together for years to come. The deal was also seen as a step toward ending the three-year war. But after that exchange, that did not happen, and the press conference scheduled in the East Room of the White House for them to sign the agreement was immediately canceled. President Trump posted on X following the exchange, saying in part, quote, "It's amazing what comes out through emotion, and I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage, I want peace. He would disrespect the United States of America in its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace." End of quote from the president. And this is video of Zelensky leaving the White House. We're told there were untouched salad plates and other lunch items were being packed up outside the cabinet room where the lunch between the two leaders was originally planned. And just moments ago, I talked with NBC News political analyst Kristen Welker about how this exchange could impact foreign policy in the future.
It also raises some very serious questions about how this might scramble U.S. alliances. You have some, even Republican lawmakers, say this is emboldening Putin. Let me read you some of the reaction from Capitol Hill. Senator Mike Lee, a Republican ally of President Trump, posting, "Thank you for standing up for our country and putting America first, President Trump and President Vance." That's similar to a lot of the reaction we are getting from the president's allies on Capitol Hill. But one Republican Congressman, Don Bacon, calling this a bad day for American foreign policy, essentially saying that Putin is seeing this exchange and loving it, smiling.
Now, right now on KCRA.com, we have a full article detailing the heated exchange this morning in the Oval Office.